What's up, gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. I am currently on an escalator, so apologies if it is too noisy. We're going to talk about some of the best value places in the world, and if I could only live in one place, where would I choose to live? But before we do that, smash the like button, costs you nothing, means the world to me, really helps me out with the algorithm, so I would appreciate if you could do that for me. Now, we're currently in Warsaw, Poland, and the reason I am making this video is because someone asked me, Josh, if you could only live in one place, where would you live? And obviously that's a pretty tough question to answer because I live in 3 different countries for a reason, but I'm going to do my best to extrapolate on that answer in this video. And the fact of the matter is going to be pretty simple. If you are solely looking for value for money, value per capita, nah, that's not the right term. If you're solely interested in high quality of life for as cheap as possible, you're pretty much relegated to Southeast Asia. Because simply put, you can't match that value. So in Southeast Asia, specifically like Kuala Lumpur, Bangkok, maybe even places in like Vietnam, you can get like high-rise buildings. This isn't gonna be an apartment building, but a building like that, that's a bank. Actually, right here, you can see where I'm staying. The Intercontinental 5-star hotel in Poland, Warsaw, Poland. You can get a building like that for, and I'm paying like $200 a night or something like that. But in Bangkok or Kuala Lumpur, you can get a skyscraper like that with like luxury living. So you're in like a good area. You probably have a pool. You probably have a co-working space. You probably have a gym. You have all the amenities you can dream of. You have like a face scanner to get into your apartment building, 24-hour security, all that good stuff. You can probably find that for like, I don't know, $400, $500 per month, which is absolutely insane value. Here, my hand's getting, or my arm's getting a little sore, so we're switching hands. Okay? And simply put, you just can't find that value pretty much anywhere else in the world outside of Southeast Asia, where you can get high-tech, high-quality, luxury amenities for literally pennies on the dollar, especially if you're considering the exchange rate, right? So the dollar versus the Vietnamese dong, well, I'm not saying that right, but whatever, or the Thai baht. Like, you simply just don't have that value anywhere else in the world. So solely from a value perspective, Southeast Asia is gonna be one of the best places you can go, right? Like, it's just undeniable. People always say, oh, why Southeast Asia? Why not, I don't know, Colombia? And the fact of the matter is, whatever you can get in Colombia, even though Colombia is a pretty inexpensive country in itself, if you spend that same amount in Kuala Lumpur, you're gonna be living like a king. I mean, it's just not comparable. Not even close. It's just so much more high-tech, so much more luxurious, and pretty much everything you can ask for. So that would be like the first place I would look if I could only live in one place, because the value and lifestyle is simply just unmatched. Now, obviously, it depends on what you're looking for in life, right? So we all have different values, priorities, things we're searching for. And so, obviously, you have to take that into consideration. Also, you have to take into consideration the fact that, it just depends on who you are, right? And another thing is, a place like Colombia, not going to be nearly as safe as a place like Southeast Asia. And then moving from Southeast Asia, as I already talked about, I'd probably be looking into Kuala Lumpur, Bangkok, maybe places in Vietnam. But for the most part, for me personally, I think Thailand just has unmatched value. Just so, what's the word that I'm looking for? It's kind of like a Goldilocks place, where you just get so much more value for your money than anywhere else in the world. And then from there, I would probably look into other European places. And this kind of touches on what I was just getting at. It really depends on who you are. So I don't like bad weather. So obviously you can see the weather, not super great in Poland right now. It's not currently raining, but it was raining. That's why you can see the glistening of the roads. And so I would probably look into a place like Greece or Spain or Italy or Portugal, where I happen to actually have residency and where I live. But personally, I would probably prefer the south of Spain, Italy, and Greece as well. And there's other nations around that are worth looking into, but particularly the south of Spain, unmatched value. Same with Greece and Italy, in my opinion. Now, Italy is tricky because my favorite city in Italy is Milan, which is not the most value forward proposition, to be very frank, but it is a great city in my opinion. Tons of food, tons of culture, has a lot to offer. I absolutely love Milan, but I also like big cities, so that is another thing to keep in mind. And then moving from Europe, you obviously have to consider places like Latin America, where, once again, I happen to live. I happen to live in all these places: Bangkok, Portugal, and Latin America. Now, Latin America, a little bit tricky because there is a lot of stuff going on in Latin America. So you have a place like Brazil or Colombia, where, to be frank, if you are a single guy in Colombia, I probably wouldn't recommend Colombia. Even though, yes, Colombian women are beautiful, but there are just so many risks with Colombia in the present day that it's hard to recommend. And then you have other places like Uruguay, you have Paraguay, you have obviously Mexico. And yeah, Mexico, super easy to get residency. Same with Paraguay. Not sure about Brazil, but Brazil is another place with a crime rate that is probably a little bit too high for my personal opinion. But those are mainly the places that I would personally look into. Then obviously, I've talked about this a little bit. You have your Dubai, you have your Saudi Arabia, which are pretty much, in my opinion, just pure tax plays, right? So if you want to just minimize your tax burden as low as possible, you can look into those as options. And let me flip this camera around. You can see we are here, and this building actually has a pool and gym in it as well. That's why I was using it as the example for Thailand. But like, to be frank, this is a 5-star hotel, has a pool and gym and all that stuff, and it's 200 a night, a little bit more. In Thailand, in Bangkok, you can get a building nicer than this, more security, Face ID, better elevators, better pools. Like, the pools here in Poland, not super great, probably because the weather isn't super great. But, like, infinity pool in Bangkok, Thailand, in a desirable location. And the interior's probably going to be nicer, more modern, and overall better for, $700 a month. Which I don't know what that is per day. But a lot less than whatever $200 a night is. $200 a night is what? $6,000 a month? So, like, what? 1/7, 1/8 of the cost, and you are getting a lot more value, in my personal opinion. So that's why I say that would probably be at the top of my list if I were to only pick one country. Not to mention, the food is absolutely amazing. Can't go wrong. And yeah, so we're going to wrap up this video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. And as always, I have food in my hand, but peace, much love.